Hey everybody, welcome back. And this discussion will be about this underrated German expressionistic classic, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse. I have to confess, when I first watched Fritz Lang's The Testament of Dr. Mabuse, I didn't fully appreciate it. But however, after revisiting it tonight, I can confidently say it's an exceptionally compelling film, an underrated German expressionist gem that holds up remarkably well. Like watching this movie, I'm reminded of how which blew my fucking socks off, and of how Lang's early work, especially his crime thrillers, stand out in cinema history. Like for me, Dr. Mabuse echoes the same brilliance and intensity as M, even if it doesn't quite match the the former's tight pacing. Like while the film does have its slow stretches, it still remains a masterful piece of cinema with sharp writing, compelling dialogue, and most importantly, strong performances. Like Lang's skill as a filmmaker is undeniable, and in both M and Dr. Mabuse, he brings an intensity that's not found in many other black and white films from the 1930s. Like the atmosphere in these films feels so unique, almost ahead of its time. Like like the storytelling in this film is just truly engaging, and it shows Lang's ability to craft a suspenseful narrative. Like it's also, in other words, it's also worth noting that I'm still desperately eager to watch the silent film Dr. Mabuse, the Gambler, like like which which I could see in a way further highlights him as an evolution as a director. Like 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 another highlight is out of all the works that I've seen from this filmmaker that I have seen, I only love four of them, which is obviously Metropolis, one of my favorite films of all time, and his masterpiece, and the underrated silent gem Destiny, and obviously this film. Like each of these movies reflects Lang's brilliance in storytelling and direction, with The Testament of Dr. Mabuse being one of his finest, even if it has a few minor flaws. But the last 30 to 40 minutes of the film, while still packed with tension and shock, they do feel a bit drawn out in my opinion. Like, in my personal take, it, a 10 to 20-minute trim would have made this film conclusion feel sharper and more impactful. Nevertheless, the film's overall quality and its place in cinema history make it a worthwhile watch for me. Like I'd even consider picking up the Criterion edition, Blu-ray or not, as it's a film that deserves to be recognized for its importance in shaping cinema. Like one of the most interesting things about this film is that this movie was banned by Nazi Minister of Propaganda Joseph Goebbels, who feared its subversive themes could inspire antisocial behavior and terrorism. Like, it's very interesting because this movie is like a testament of how ahead of its time this film was. Like, I like the way this movie touches on themes of criminality and manipulation that resonates deeply, even in today's standards. But there's also there's a lot of another it's fascinating because the behind the scenes story of it, right, particularly how it was created under the constraints of the time, like like I like I even considering the challenges of film editing in the 30s, like I can only imagine the stress that went into bringing Lang's vision to life. Like the editing and technical aspects of the film remain impressive even by today's standards in my eyes. Like it's like a ridiculous achievement in my opinion. Like despite some pacing issues in the later half, this movie stands as a pivotal piece of cinema. Like, even my favorite director of all time, Christopher Nolan, once cited it as an essential viewing for anyone in creating a supervillain, and that's a statement that carries a lot of weight in my eyes. Like, it's so influential, and its legacy in film is undeniable. Like, especially when considering when it was released in the same year as The Invisible Man and the original King Kong. But I would say that the film's ending, which I found a bit ambiguous and elusive, like it leaves a sense of mystery that's hard to fully pin down. Unlike M, where the conclusion provokes deep reflection on justice and morality, the testament of Dr. Mabuse is less concerned with providing answers and more with exploring the psyche of its characters and the shadowy world they inhabit. Like when Dr. Mabuse dies, as it dies, the film's surreal imagery of his ghostly influence, lingering in the minds of others, is both perplexing and thought-provoking. Like 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 when I think about that part of the film. But when I think about the ending leaves you more with um questions than answers, which in a way adds to its mystique. But it doesn't have this. It's doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have the same weight as M in my eyes. Like I have to confess that this movie didn't captivate me in the same way M did, where I was left contemplating the fate of Hans Becker and whether he deserves justice or if he plead insanity and go to a psych ward. Like it's still a deeply fascinating film. Like I feel like it's peculiar, elusive, and ambiguous, but its complexity and brilliance are undeniable. Like for cinephiles like me and those interested in the history of film, this movie is an absolute essential viewing. Though the final act may drag a bit, but the film is undeniably important in shaping the genre of crime thrillers, and Lang's influence is still felt in cinema today. Like, I am glad I revisited this film last night, and it was worth staying up late till 3 o'clock in the morning. And despite its flaws, the Testament of Dr. Mabuse is a film that every film lover should experience. Uh, the, that's all, folks, and I hope you please like, subscribe, and share my videos out there. So, so have a good day, my fellow cinephiles.